Okay, guys, welcome back. Today I'm here with a special guest, Mr. Dannic.
What's up?
Oh, good, man. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm Raya. As you can see, I'm in the studio right now
Yeah.
and preparing some new stuff for Miami. And
Oh, yeah, of course. When is
yeah,
Miami? Is it the end of March?
March again. Yeah, I'm playing Ultra
Oh, nice.
field stage. So yeah, it's been a while. I think it's 2 years since I played there.
Hmm.
And for me, yeah, Ultra is all about showcasing new music. And right now I'm working on a new EP.
Okay.
So that's the first for me. I never worked on an EP, just like single
Just
releases.
single releases, yeah.
Yeah.
And how is it to like? How do you prepare for such an event? Because, of course, there's a lot of people visiting the event. There's a lot of people watching the event. What's the main thing you want to get out of that event for yourself as an artist?
Of course, promotion is very important, and the name, the brand Ultra is very important. So
Mm-hmm.
I read something on your Instagram about shouting about your success or what you're
Yeah.
doing. So, for instance, today I'm gonna post about Ultra because I didn't really announce it yet.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm able to play there is quite a big one, even today.
Yeah.
Ultra is still one of the biggest festivals in the world, and especially because not only people in front of you, but also people all over the world are watching it.
I think more
And for
people are
me-
watching the live stream than there are visiting, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's basically all eyes on you. And for me, yeah, of course, preparation is going on for the whole year. So it's not because it's Ultra that I'm preparing my set more or less. Um, Preparation is something that goes on the whole year,
Yeah.
and creativity you can force it. So just whenever I have something going on in my head, I try to record it on my iPhone and then work on it on my laptop, of course. And but for this one, we actually planned ahead. So we're like, okay, in March we want to start an updated sound,
Mm-hmm.
refresh the Dannic sound a little bit because after 4 years, it's time to to rebrand a little bit. Especially nowadays when the music industry is going so fast,
Mm-hmm.
music consumption is changing. So it's really important to stay up to date and refresh yourself. So coming with just one single wouldn't make the cut. So we were like, okay, let's do a 3-track EP,
And is that
and
because
then
you want to tell a story? Because you, or because with one single it's kind of hard to.
it's kind of hard for people to get to know the
Yeah.
new updated sound. So you need more releases than that. So
Hmm.
people so you can actually launch your new updated sound. It's nothing like out of the ordinary. People are like, oh, brand new Dannic. No, it's just an updated sound, and it's something I'm really excited about. But I can't tell you what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be interesting for
Yeah.
sure.
We'll watch the live stream.
Yeah, what's the live for sure?
Yeah. So, but yeah, so like an event like Ultra, mainly for you, the goal is to promote yourself as an artist,
Yeah.
to get the attention of all the. Is it just the fans, or also maybe bookers around the world, or?
Yeah, it's about recognition, of course, and the fact that you're playing Ultra means, yeah, getting a little bit of leverage, right, on your
Mm.
name. It's good for your name, it's good for your brand. So of course, promoters are looking at the lineup as well,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one.
Is it hard to get on a stage like that? As in, are they the ones approaching you, or do you really, like, do you even you still have to reach out to them and say like, hey, please book me because of this and that, and how does that work?
That's an interesting question. I think especially nowadays it's harder to get on the
Yeah,
stage on the bigger festivals, and that's all due to
supply and
yeah.
demand.
No, I see a lot of islands nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, a good example, Martin Garrix has his own label Stamped. So what he does in his live sets is mainly playing Martin Garrix songs or releases of his label, and also supporting guys from his label. So whenever they have a stage hosting on a festival, it's obvious that he's gonna invite all his friends from Stamped
Yeah.
instead of me, for example. So which filters out already a lot of people. The same went on last year at Tomorrowland. They had less and less EDM stages or stages that I was able to play,
Mm-hmm.
genre-wise, music-wise. So the only option I had in the end was playing at the Nervo stage because it was more EDM-ish, more it fitted my sound.
Yeah.
I had to reach out to Nerve on myself, like, hey, if you have some spots left,
Yeah.
it's just 30 minutes from my house, so I'm there. You know?
Yeah.
But just to give you an example, and this is I'm being like super honest. It's getting harder and harder
Yeah.
if you're not locked into a certain label or releasing on a certain label. So in this case, for Ultra, Revealed has a stage hosting, and because it's their 10-year anniversary, and I started at Revealed, they actually approached me like, "Hey Dan, do you want to play at Ultra?" So I was like, let me think about it now. But it's not that Ultra really booked me in this case.
It's more the stage
The
host.
stage, yeah, and of course Ultra has to approve it. If I was a no name, then they probably wouldn't accept it. But still, you need a network. You need some kind of somebody that can actually put you there.
Yeah, but I think that's a really important topic to discuss, because especially like the new kids on the block right now, they might think it's different, right? So that's why I asked. They might think like, oh, he's Dannic, like he just knocks on the door, people open up, things happen automatically.
So, sometimes yes.
Yeah, sure, it helps. Yeah, definitely.
But I see a trend that it's getting harder and harder every year, and that's all due to the what I said. There are more islands now, so if you're not releasing on a certain label, then it's gonna be really hard to get booked by that stage hosting or whatever. And then, to be honest, like, of course, back in the days when I was more popular and more, I was playing the main stages, so it didn't affect me. But now I really have to work hard and prove myself even harder that I'm worth it.
Yeah.
And it's more a political, strategic game nowadays than it's, unfortunately, than it's about the music or the branding.
Do you think that's more because of the fact that there's more money involved? The industry got bigger?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's about the money. I think it's more about people competing. So the politics behind the screen, behind the. But yeah, no, of course, money is a thing. But in this case, stage hosting, it's not about the money. Trust me. Yeah, I have to invest in Miami to be able to play there. It's not that I'm gonna walk away with a bag.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
that's also such a thing. Like, so many people think that once you're at that certain level as an artist, it's done. You know, like you're set.
No,
that's not how it works.
Of course, I did very well, and I'm very, very blessed and happy. I have this amazing studio that I own, and I had an amazing career so far. But it's not that I can like lean back and relax and stop working. No, I still have to do a lot, because I think there's still a gigantic gap between let's say the top 15 DJs in the world and the rest.
Yeah,
I always call it the A guys and the B guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's because, like, I'm not of course in certain areas I'm a ticket seller, but not like Steve Aoki or Hartwell, or so that gap is very, very big, and it's getting harder and harder to close the gap.
Yeah, I think that happened because the music became more commercial, as in like if you have a look at guys like Steve Aoki, the guy has a Netflix documentary, right? So people might even just know him from the documentary. They might have never heard of his music or whatever, but still would pay to see him play because they saw the documentary or whatever. So the whole game changed. When we started, like, we kind of started at the same period.
Yeah.
We're gonna sound like dinosaurs right now, but it was all pretty easy. Yeah. Well, easier, right?
Yeah, we started. I always tell people the door is closed, and I'm like right behind the door. So I see.
What do you mean with that?
I mean by that, like, when we started was 2011, 2012, 2013. So the EDM bubble was really big. The best example is, for instance, I had a collaboration with Hartwell. He played at Ultra. My bookings blew up. My brand blew up. It was crazy. It was all eyes on me. Nowadays, if I do a collaboration with, for instance, Garrix or something, everyone's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. True.
So that shifted. It's not that important anymore or that special anymore. So you have to work harder and do better, of course. And what was the question again? Because I was talking about the EDM bubble. Yeah, it was more easy back in the days. That's for sure.
Yeah, like things changed, as in, like you mentioned, I still recall as well when I did the collab with Hardwell, for example. I still remember the moment when he posted the thing on Facebook, because Facebook was the shit at that time.
Yeah.
Like 5,000 new likes in an hour. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like my phone exploded. And I agree. Like if you have such a thing right now, it's just not as impactful as it used to be.
No, people are almost used to it because everyone's collaborating. It's not special anymore, and it's all also due to the change in how people. I mean, back in the days, we were like waiting for Beatport to update, to refresh,
refresh,
and get that track and actually buy the track. And right now, I'm gonna be super honest. You can go to YouTube and rip the extended version from YouTube, and you can play it, right? Nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah.
And also Spotify, you can stream stuff for free. It's totally different.
So how do you manage that as an artist? What did you change as an artist to deal with those changes?
It's an ongoing process, of course, and there's not one big tip or golden egg, but we're constantly evolving right now on the background. We're rebranding and trying out new things and coming up with new things. But I think nowadays marketing is more and more important, especially because social media is going so fast. So back in the days, I would post like a 10-minute after movie or something, or like the front of house TV where people had a chance to look into my life. But if you post a 10-minute video nowadays, after 1 minute, like I think 80% of the people already skip.
Yeah.
Because the attention span is changing also. People are used to fast and easy content. It's easy accessible. Also on your stories, you have to make sure that there's a good balance between promoting your stuff, but also being funny. It's almost like
well, it depends, I guess.
Important things, right?
It depends, because that whole funny thing, it's connected to your personality, because you as a person, especially with your is he still your tour manager, Gideon?
Yeah, Gideon.
Yeah. Especially the connection between you guys is humorous, as in you guys are just fun together. You're fun as a person.
We're like the worst actors ever, so I couldn't even do. But I mean, in general, it's more important that people, because you see so many pictures of DJs with their hands in the air and fire and everything, so it gets boring.
I think that's the whole personality part, as in people are tired of seeing the stage photos with the fireworks and the lasers, and that's the thing we all know. We know you're a DJ, we know you make music. What else?
Exactly.
And I think it's the whole personality thing, as in show me who you are as a person. Like what do you like? What kind of interests do you have? Because that's the part where you are able to create a deeper connection with your fan.
Yeah.
And that's something that's changed over time. Like you said, 10 years ago, if you posted an after movie of 10 minutes, the whole internet exploded.
Yeah, and everyone was watching it.
Yeah, exactly. And then after movies became a thing, so everyone started doing it. So it's saturated, and you need to find something new to grab the attention and to keep the attention of your fan.
And even if I look at myself, if I'm watching a Netflix movie, like I see myself on my phone, so, like when I'm watching something, it's crazy, right? So you really have to keep that in mind, that people are exactly the same, and probably, with all respect, they're probably watching your Instagram while they're on the toilet or something. It's just that's what it is.
But that is invaluable information, as in it's definitely something you should keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
When you are creating your content, because it's like a matter of seconds, like.
Yeah,
and of course, quick.
Reach is a very interesting topic. So I have like more than 500,000 followers on Instagram. Sick. But if I post something, I think the reach is only not even 10%, right? So I think for me, I have a marketing background, so the power of repetition is very important. Because I have to laugh. I think the top comment every time I post something about a track is like, "What's the track title?" while that track has been released for maybe 6 weeks, and I posted like almost every day about it, right? So it just gives you an example of how important it is to keep shouting about your releases
Yeah.
and keep informing people without being too pushy.
Yeah, you don't want to. At least that's the way how I see it. You don't want to go into sales mode as an artist.
No, but back in the days when we started, yeah, I feel like we're grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
It was always like, what's the new thing? You
Yeah.
wanted to show the new tracks, even if it wasn't even finished. In your new after movie, you would put tracks that were IDs. But nowadays, I would definitely put like a track that's already been released, because people are still like, hey, what's this track?
Yeah.
Because it's going too fast. I can't even keep up with all the releases.
Yeah.
Let's say my mom or my sister who's checking my music, right? So
And what I was wondering, because as you mentioned, like I still remember that back in the days there were like a complete like
this title has to be
back in the days
with Dannic.
yeah. But I still recall that there were a lot of those forums and stuff where people were discussing live sets, like, hey, which track's that, which mashup is that, and
Yeah.
people start digging the internet to find that certain song. It's the same like collecting Pokemon cards, right? Like finding that one golden Charizard that everyone was looking for.
And now it's too
Is there
accessible.
still something going on like that? Like, is there still a place where people do that, or?
Yeah, 1001 track lists is
Yeah. But it's not really a place where people also talk to each other, right?
no, and that's what I miss about it. They probably are working on something like that. I mean, that would be amazing.
Would be smart, yeah.
Would be smart. But yeah, it's all too accessible. And sometimes I don't even know. I see artwork popping up that I just approved a half an hour before. So yeah, it's
Really?
crazy how people get the title sometimes. So yeah.
That's
But
sick.
especially the digging part is what I used to love as well.
Yeah, it was like a sport.
Yeah, I was like, what is he playing? Like, oh, that's cool.
And then the gratification once you finally got the song, like, what?
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
it. Yeah, it was great. Great times. Yeah, we really sound old now. Anyway, in the whole artist world, like, what if you have a look right now, like, what's the most important thing you focus on as an artist?
That's good. Yeah, music for me,
Mm-hmm.
because that's my product. I can be a great person, but it's not gonna do the trick.
Yeah.
My music is key, so my DJ sets are important. My show is important because it's my gift card, right? So those are things that I focus on, and of course, and this is the hardest part. I see a lot of people that finally found their own sound, and then all of a sudden people start complaining, or not really complaining, but like it all sounds the same, right? So, and this is something that I want to address, because it's of course it's frustrating as an artist, because you're like, okay, yeah, but this is my sound, but still you have to try and develop and evolve within your own sound, and that's the hardest part. So that's something I'm constantly working on, trying to keep it fresh, keep it interesting. And for me, one of the goals is not to have amazing streams on Spotify, because I'm a club DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I get booked because people kind of know what to expect. If they book Dannic, it's gonna be an energetic show with a certain sound that they like. So for me, it's important that I have DJ support and that my tracks go well in the charts of the DJs.
Yeah.
Not so much of streaming numbers or how many views on YouTube or all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also something why I started funk, because I think there's a big gap still between big room music, future house. Like, we're right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I'm aiming for, so the clubby side of things. And I was really happy that actually this is going to be our 5th year. Actually, last year was a really good one with loads of live support. So I'm just to give you an example of how much time it could take before things really start to develop in the right direction.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's underestimated, and even I can't point it out enough, as in, even when you've already achieved some form of success, it's still hard. It's not like it ends there. You know, it's still hard to. Um,
It's even harder if you
yeah,
have
maybe even
that.
harder. Yeah, to keep your head up and to keep all those things rolling. And
Yeah,
as if you have a look at yourself, I can imagine right now you're more an entrepreneur than you are an artist, because you're, as in the daily tasks that you're working on have more to do with running your business
yeah,
than it
100%.
is making music. How much days do you make music a week?
Um, I would say 2,
Okay, yeah.
which is not enough, but that's why my laptop is really handy, because while I'm on tour, I'm usually the most like the creative flow starts working better, because
Hmm.
sometimes my management is like, okay, then this weekend we do no shows, we block your agenda, you have a week in the studio, and I'm sitting here like, right? It's like you can force creativity. So at the beginning of my career, when I just started getting more bookings and bookings, I would get really stressed about it, because at first you start and you have like 6 or 7 tracks lined up all ready for release, and it's a really good feeling, because you know, like, oh, okay, for the next 7 months I'm done, right?
Hmm.
But then the releases come, you start playing more and more, you have less time to actually spend in the studio to be productive.
Hmm.
uh, of course, it's the first time that you experience jet lags. It's crazy. So there's a lot coming at you, and I noticed it that my creative flow was completely gone. Like, I had a writer's block instantly.
Wow.
And I saw like every deadline coming, and then like, then where are the new tracks? I'm like, I have some demos, but I'm not happy with it. I don't feel it, and I got really, really stressed.
That doesn't help.
And that doesn't help, because it blocks you more,
Yeah.
even more. So I think that's a good tip to. And then, oh no, my mom said the most wise words ever, and that was the first time that it actually uh, got to relax my mind. She's like, "How did all those tracks happen before?" I was like, "Yeah, basically coincidence." I was just like almost asleep, and then a melody popped up, and I recorded on my iPhone, and that was, yeah, and I had the idea. So she's like, "Okay, so it all came really natural, right? When you
Hmm.
had no pressure." I said, "Yeah." So she's like, "Try to relax, enjoy more, try to get more inspiration from your shows, and then the creative things
Yeah.
will start flowing again. But if you get stressed about it, it will block it." And yeah, she was right, 100%.
That's the thing, because you mentioned you can't force creativity.
No.
In my opinion, I think you can. As in, it's not like you can call it on the go, you know. But as you mentioned, you know from yourself that if you put yourself in a certain position on tour, in this case,
Yeah.
you know from yourself, from previous experiences, that you will be more triggered to become creative.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that once you know all those little facts about yourself, like, hey, for me, for example, it really helps if I watched a documentary of a certain artist. So the Swedish House Mafia documentary or something,
Yeah.
or an after
Like
movie
that of
from Ultra
Art.
Tomorrowland. If I
Yeah.
watch a video like that, I get crazy creative, because
Yeah.
I just, all my creative juices get going. And I think everyone has something like that. Everyone has a trigger that puts them in that mindset.
Yeah.
And the big achievement for you as an artist is to find out what is that trigger. And for
Yeah,
you,
100%. Yeah, you're right. If the atmosphere is good, but that's the thing. Meaning, like, you can force it. So in this case, an example is my management or whoever is saying, "Dan, you
yeah,
have to be in the studio. You have to finish this track, or you have to come up with something new." That's
yeah,
is basically triggering not my creative mind, but my stress mind,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I
Maybe
think,
you can put a deadline on it. Maybe that's better.
yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
But
it's
of course,
impossible.
nowadays I've been doing this professionally now for 7, 8 years already.
Yeah,
So I know what my um, how do you say it, valkuilen.
pitfalls.
So I know what my pitfalls are. And now I'm far more relaxed about creating new stuff. And
Yeah.
if I'm not super creative, I just go out of the studio, do something else. Even go to the gym or something, which can really help in my
What
case.
was that? Was that easy for you to to become aware, because I can imagine that once you're in the studio and you feel completely useless because it's not working out. Was it easy for you to say, okay, I'm just gonna head out to the gym or whatever? Is that easy for you to do?
No, I had to learn that, of course,
Yeah.
because it's very easy to get frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the pressure from social media and all the things you read about your tracks, or even like you read like 10 positive comments and one is negative. The negativity is gonna stick to you because
It's that one. Yeah.
it's that one, because it's something you made from your heart, or something you're very excited about, and then somebody's just like, I hate it, or just whatever.
Mm.
But I learned to let go of it. You can't please everyone, and that shouldn't be. But for me, it's more like fuel to keep on going and try to also get that person excited about my music.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe just realize that, as you mentioned, it's impossible to please everyone. So yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So if you the moment you understand that and switch that off,
Yeah.
or switch to a different mindset, it really helps. It really helps.
How long did it take you to be in that mindset, as in like, I don't care anymore. There are people who simply don't like my stuff, and that's okay.
Well, I still care.
Mhm.
That's the hardest part about it. But like in my subconscious, I do care.
Mhm.
But it's out of my hands. So that was the whole thing. Like, can I do something about it? No. Is the world gonna end? No.
Mhm.
There are still people that enjoy my music. Well, then I make them happy, and I'm a happy person. So it sounds very simple how I put it now, but that's how I felt about it. I was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. So why should I be stressed about it and even be awake about it? It's like there's no need for it.
And to you, is it mainly social media that brings you those negativity? As in, is it just those comments, or is it anything else?
No, it's also touring. It can be very, very tiring, and sometimes when you're super tired, and this doesn't happen in 1 or 2 nights of 2 or 3 hours of sleep, but like a full tour in the summer, and then I felt really down, and I didn't know why, because my shows were amazing. I was always super energized, and then after my tour, I basically collapsed.
Mm.
Physically, but also mentally. I'm like, why do I feel so down? Right? I'm here sitting alone in my house, and it's like, yeah. But then I read, I think I read something about Armin, who had the same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a book, I can't remember the name. It was something about what the brain does with success. So if you have success, there's something happening in your brain.
Yeah.
And I read that book, and that was an eye-opener for me. That was like exactly what I felt. Because you feel on top of your game, people are basically applauding for you, screaming at you, giving thumbs up, and then an hour later you're in your hotel room by yourself, sleeping, and all of the adrenaline goes away, and you feel like kind of empty.
Yeah, it's ultimate highs and ultimate lows.
Hmm?
You're going from ultimate highs to ultimate lows.
Exactly, and it's not even a low, because it's not like something bad happened, but it's like,
but that's the way how you experience it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, as in, as you mentioned, it's not necessarily a low, because if you have a look at it from the outside world, you might say, what's low in this? You know, you're in a dressing room with all the liquor you want. Yeah, all the food you want. So what's a low in your opinion? But it's the way, and I think that's life in general, you know, like, it's the way how you experience it from the inside. It's the same environment. Let's say you're there together with Gideon, your tour manager. He's in the same environment, the same room as you are in, but you have a completely different feeling than he has.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you experience on stage and off stage. You know, it just keeps on bumping from up and down, up and down. And
yeah, and also because back in the days I was making music without any expectations, or it's just like, because I'm still very passionate about making music and also playing music.
Mm-hmm.
But I often tell people I get paid to travel, because
that's a good one. Yeah.
you travel 20 hours sometimes just for 1.5 hours or 90 minutes of show.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, so the shows for me are free, because that's what I like to do. That's fun. I get a lot of energy by it, but the rest is work.
So that's actually that's a good
I get paid
analogy.
to
Yeah.
travel. That's my yeah. But it's all about not losing yourself in being too negative. So I never had a depression or something, but I just thought about it, of course, because I think everyone that experiences success in a certain way. Like if you go up really quick, which
Hmm.
happened to me, not like all the top 10 guys. Don't get me wrong, but like I always tell people I'm second best, like because I don't want to be number one because it's too much pressure for me and too much expectations. And I do it because I'm passionate about making music and
Hmm.
I love music. I love what I do. It's still a hobby for me. Um, but of course, keeping this level is the most stressful thing. Keeping a
Yeah.
certain level.
And that changed the game. That changes the game and the experience for yourself as well.
Yeah.
I can imagine because when you started off playing in Breda and the local bars and stuff, it's the same experience as in you're still playing in front of people, but it feels different.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Because there was no pressure. It was just super fun, and if something went wrong, it's like yeah, whatever, your mix or whatever. It didn't matter, and now it's yeah, everything is magnified, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. What I noticed with myself, but also what I see with other bigger artists, is that the minute they lose the passion, so the minute it's not their hobby anymore, but it became their job,
yeah,
and they start making decisions based on financial topics, that's where things go south. Because then you take out the passion, you're not having fun anymore. And as soon as you don't have fun anymore as an artist, it's a really, really tough job.
yeah, and it will show. It will show to the
Yeah.
fans at your shows because you can't force creativity, but you also can't act
Mm.
passion.
Yeah.
So that's what I always told. Like I see a lot of people writing about fake DJs or people that are in it for the wrong reasons because they want to have the fame or the money. But there's no way that they can act as if they're passionate. Passion is gonna give you that extra step. It could be your downfall as well because you would do that extra step
Yeah.
even if you're physically not able to.
Yeah.
And that's the hot topic right now, even with Avicii and everyone.
Yeah.
They were so passionate about it. They will go that extra mile, but also yeah, completely crushing their bodies.
Yeah.
And I did that in 2013 almost. I basically collapsed
Mm-hmm.
the weekend before I was playing Tomorrowland for the very first time. That was 2012, I guess. And I was touring like crazy. I was going from Greece to England to Germany without sleep and crazy schedule because I couldn't say no. And the agency was like, "Yeah, Dan, this is not an ideal routing, but can you do it?" "Yeah, I can do it." Because I was like, "Yeah,
Let's go.
let's do
Let's
it."
go. Let's
I
go.
can't say
Yeah.
no. If I say no, someone else is gonna do that show.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let that happen, right? So
Yeah.
I was also very proud, of course. But yeah, basically, I was completely tired, like exaggerated. How do you say that? Completely done.
Yeah.
I spent
Exhausted.
exhausted.
Yeah.
Exhausted. I was super exhausted. I spent 2 days in the hospital,
Wow.
just sleeping,
And
basically.
was it just for recovering? Like, did they give you some extra
Yeah, I
oxygen
was
or?
completely dehydrated,
Hmm.
and that was for me a turning point. I was like, I really have to do this differently. Also because I was eating burgers and drinking lots of alcohol
Yeah.
because I
I
had
recall you being like a fit guy, like working out a lot. And I'm not sure about the whole healthy food stuff, but I do know that you always been working on your body, like fitness and
no
stuff.
back then no.
Oh, okay, so that came
You can
after.
still see pictures from the no, but I have a pretty good build. Like for my dad, it's the same. Like he's not even working out and he looks quite fit.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's a big difference between looking fit and actually being fit. I wasn't fit at all. I wasn't
Okay.
really healthy. So, but that's something I changed immediately. So now we have the only thing I have in my rider is I want to have a 24-hour gym in the hotel,
Mhm.
or at least somewhere close to the hotel. Um, and yeah, nothing else, but and just water
Yeah.
and vodka. But I only drink like 2, 3 vodkas, and sometimes yeah, when we have a promoter that has been booking me for a long time, then we end
Yeah.
up with some more shots. But I don't exaggerate it anymore. I don't do that anymore because it's not worth it.
And
Because
that's
I
some.
lose 2 days of recovering from it. It basically, yeah, I'm not being able to be productive or creative. So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something you have to learn through, as in
hard
trial
way.
and error. Like.
Yeah, the hard way basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's in most cases. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it's good to see that you've managed to create a life, or at least a form inside the whole artist life, where you can make it long term for yourself. Like doing
Yeah,
the
that's what.
gym, having
Yeah.
healthy food, eating, drinking healthy, not drinking too much alcohol, because those things are there as well. That's one of the other problems. Every
It's
place,
everywhere.
yeah, exactly. Everywhere
When
you
you enter the
come, it's
club, it's
there.
like, what do you want to drink? Ah, let's do a shot. And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking that. Yeah, come on. But, it's so you
Social
have to
pressure.
be, yeah, you have to be very careful about it.
And then you get into the plane, and if you decide to fly business, you start off with a champagne. It's like fuck.
I never drink in the plane. That's the worst. It's drier than the Sahara, the air in the plane. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah, those
crazy.
are all things that are important to me.
So the whole do you feel like the last couple of years was a process for you as well when it comes down to personal development?
Yeah, it's an ongoing process
Mm-hmm.
because you get older. You see that because I've been doing this for 7 years. So 7 years with having to skip weekends or birthday parties for my friends, or even that's one of the reasons why Robert also stopped
Mm-hmm.
or retired, or how you
Yeah.
want to say it. It's the hardest part of doing this is being able to be social, yeah, to balance social and work, um, and you have this much time, right? So, but for me, what I experience is like, okay, now sometimes I have to, I really block a weekend, and it may happen that I'm losing a lot of money, or I'm not gonna play that big festival, but maybe my mom's birthday is now more important than it
Mm.
was before, because I lost also a lot of friends at a young age. So you don't know how much time you have left on this planet, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm just gonna focus on my work day and night, although it's my passion, yeah,
It's
it's
balancing. It's all
it's
balance.
all about balancing, and
Yeah.
that's something that I learned because when I was young and everything was new to me, like of course this was what I dreamt of, right? And
Yeah.
not being famous, but like being able to live this life and play internationally. That was like my ultimate dream
Yeah.
coming true. But now I see like my parents getting older, and I see there's just less time to spend with everyone. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, you have to make the right choices.
I think that's a beautiful lesson, man. Like it's definitely something that resonates with me. As in, we briefly talked right before we started.
Yeah,
If I have a look back at like what went wrong with me, it was definitely the whole passion thing. Like the whole passion got sucked out of my body, and I was in it for the money, which is not working. Um, and after that whole process, I found a new balance in life, as in a structured balance. I still work for myself, so I don't have any structure actually. Like my
yeah,
calendar is completely open each day, aside from the coaching sessions. But uh, there still is some structure in my mind, as in I work from Monday till Thursday. I work Friday till Sunday is like family and friends time.
yeah,
Evenings are family and friends time, and within Monday till Thursday, anything can happen and anything can switch last minute. I don't care. I'm flexible.
yeah. As long as you're prepared for it.
Exactly, but you still know that by the end of the day, there's a structure, and that you know, like, okay, that's when my time, when I'm having some time off, and that's when I have to work as hard as I can,
Yeah,
because I like to work, and you like to work as well.
yeah,
Like
of course. Yeah,
working hard isn't bad. It's work hard, chill hard. That's the way
yeah.
how I see it.
Nice one. I'm gonna save that one.
Yeah, it's like balancing those things out. If you work hard 4 days a week or 5 days a week, make sure that you chill hard 2 days a week,
Yeah,
because that's how you balance those things out. And I think as an artist on your level, that's a big challenge, because your weekends are your working days.
Yeah, but that's something I also learned coming back on that. Like for me, the Monday is like my off day.
The weekend, yeah.
Of course, sometimes when it's something very important is coming through, I might go to the studio or do some work.
Mm-hmm.
But usually my Monday is my weekend, DJ weekend.
Yeah.
And that's because for us also working in the music industry, this could go on like 24/7
Yep.
because you have to deal with different time zones, different managers from different times. My email is going crazy every day, or demos coming in, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's very because you're always on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's
And
very
if
important.
if you aren't in the office, you still have this, you know, like it still goes on your phone. So
Yeah, and that's something I also do if I'm in the studio. I usually switch off my phone, or at least keep it in the office.
mm-hmm.
Yesterday I bought a whiteboard. I see one behind you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people are, yeah, but you can put it on your phone, right? No, I don't want it on my phone because then I'm looking at my Instagram again or my
Yeah.
WhatsApp, or I don't even have desktop WhatsApp
Yeah.
because I want to be offline also.
Mm.
And for me, very important, if I work in a studio, no more than 8 hours a day, because I noticed that everything beyond 8 hours is lost time because your ears get fatigued, you get tired, sometimes you listen to, if you're mixing or mastering, that's even not going to work. But there's only so much you can do on a certain level
Yeah.
every day.
Like 8 hours is still a long time.
And it's
Like
still, yeah, but it's studio, meaning I do some work and I
Okay.
do some actual studio work.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great thing, you know, like the first step into changing your habits. Because you mentioned like as soon as I'm on my phone, I'm landing on my Instagram page,
Yeah.
and that's
Almost
just
not every time. Like,
yo, but that happens with a lot of people. It's just a subconscious pattern that you've learned yourself over time, and that's why you
Yeah.
don't even noticing it that you're doing it, but it happens. And the easiest way to change those habits is to change the environment.
Yeah.
Like place your phone outside of the studio. Write down things on your whiteboard instead of putting them on your notepad in your iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
All those subtle kind of changes really help you to work more effectively in the end.
Yeah.
And
True.
that really, really helps.
Yeah.
So it's good for me to see that you're already getting like started. Like, okay, how can I change this?
Yeah. That's what. Again, it's an ongoing process. It's not something that I came up with when I started. So
Yeah,
you have to make sure that the atmosphere where you're working in, and you have to get to know yourself as well. It's a bit of both because not everyone works the same, or what works for me doesn't necessarily have to work for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you learned over the years? Just on top of your mind, like the first thing that pops up.
Making sure that it's still passion driven. I think that's the most important thing. Making sure that you make choices based on your intuition, but also making sure that you double check everything with people that actually know about. You don't have to do everything yourself. That's one of the most important things. One of my bad habits is that I want to pull the strings of everything. And the most important thing is that you need to let go, and it all starts with trusting people. In this industry, trust issues is a hot topic, of course. So having amazing people around you is a very important part of your success.
Yeah, building the right team.
That of course is easy to say, but really hard to do, because who can you trust? Like, that's something you have to experience.
How many people do you work with right now? Like, if you have a look at your team, how many people are surrounding you?
12, maybe.
12, wow.
So management team, there's daily management, there's a bit of socials. I still do my own socials because I want to interact with the fans as well, and be able to to answer their questions. And for me, it's not really that much of it doesn't cost that much time.
Yeah.
Then the bookings agency, of course, the publishing company, PR.
Label?
my label, but my label is now independent, so we do that at the management company.
Okay.
People there, and I'm still head of A&R.
Oh, I think it's
CEO
important.
of Funk Recordings. Now that's always
Yeah.
cool to say, but and I'm forgetting. Yeah, and of course Gideon, tour manager, advancing,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And people that also collect the royalties, do the royalty administration. So yeah, that's much.
Like.
Yeah, I just think like yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, if you want to do it the right way, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an accountant as well.
Yeah, accountant too.
Yeah. Two. Yeah. There you go. It's
One
like
for the special, the withholding, so all the international,
Yeah, exactly.
things, and then one for the Dutch taxes and.
So you're running a whole business there.
Yeah, and then of course I do a lot myself, and because it's that a lot of people are like, yeah, when I have this manager, my career is gonna pop off. It's gonna be amazing. Maybe, but the only thing a manager can do is have a good network, and of course do the right work and everything. But in the end, it comes down to you. There's only one that can change your career, and that's you.
Yeah.
And of course you can have the guidance and advice and all that kind of stuff, but in the end, if you sit back and lean back and let other people do the job, it's not going to work.
No, it helps.
No one is going to be so passionate about what you do than yourself.
That's true. Yeah, that's 100% true. Great advice. Dan, I want to thank you for your time, your precious studio time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I want to, just really thanks for the open cup. Sorry?
That's one track less on the EP. Because
sorry. I'll say sorry to all your fans. Like,
No,
it's
no,
all
no.
on me.
No, so my man, it was my pleasure. I enjoy doing this, and it's good to talk to you again, of course.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
Thanks for the open conversation, man. I think you've,
Always, yeah. I think
you don't see many artists opening up that much about the insides of their world. You know, it's always the front, like the front stage. Let's just call it that. Yeah.
Yeah, and for everyone has their own reasons, but I just want to show because when I was starting out, there was just one thing that I wanted to break through, right? So, and I see that nowadays it's getting more and more harder to break through, even if you have amazing talent. I see a lot of guys with amazing talent releasing on Spinning, on Revealed, all the big labels, and have like 0 bookings, and it really hurts me in a way because it's not fair. And it's something that I can change, but I can just give the insights and maybe give people the motivation to at least continue, because it's still possible to break through.
Yeah.
It's just harder, and just by being real and by being honest, I think I can still motivate people and give them the right direction, or at least a little direction.
Beautiful words, man. Thanks for taking the time, and good luck with the rebranding. Looking forward to hearing the EP.
You will see everything in March.
I will.
All right.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Thanks. Ciao.